Okay, so let's start. We are 14 now. And yesterday, what we did, we
Uh,
made a just HTML component library. So I'm also sharing that link here. This was the component library we created yesterday. So anyone who joined the session yesterday, have they tried by themselves about creating this? Anyone created this HTML component library by themselves? Dhruven?
Yes, Parth, I did.
Okay, you did. Good.
no, I didn't did, but
Okay, no worries. Okay, so this was the component library which we did yesterday using HTML, basic HTML. Okay, so today what we are going to do, we are going to add some styling to the same HTML component library using the cascading style sheets using CSS. Okay, so let's start. We are like how many now? 13. It's okay.
we are 12.
So CSS. So apart from HTML, the things that work behind HTML is like giving a behavior to the HTML document, or giving the web design to the HTML document, particular design to the HTML document. So designing part is handled by CSS, and the behavior part is handled by the JavaScript, which we are going to cover in the next session tomorrow. Okay, so cascading style sets, it is actually a style set language. It has its own syntax, and it has its three ways we can link it with the HTML file, and it is used to describe the presentation of a document written in an HTML file. It describes how elements should be rendered on the screen in speech or on paper, like, or any other media. How should it be rendered? All about styling. So yesterday we created this HTML component library, and today what we are going to do is to give this design, and we'll add some stylish fonts, colors, and we'll use the uh, images. We'll use some CSS properties to design this. We'll add these transitions too, like hovering on the cursor, and it will grow more fonts. It will grow the font size bigger and bigger. We'll also add the shadows, and we'll design the navigation bar too. So let's get started. So actually yesterday I provided a curriculum of HTML, and today the deployment has been failed, so I will be sharing you my screen. So is my screen visible to you all? Dhruvin, Mahi, is my screen visible?
Yes, Parth.
Okay. So this is in CSS curriculum which we are going to cover today. So like HTML also has hundreds of elements in it. Hundreds of HTML tags there are we can use, and none we have to remember. We just have to remember how to implement them. So like HTML on itself, we have that same thing in CSS also. There are more than hundreds of CSS properties available on the web, and remembering each of them is very tedious part. So we don't need to remember all of them, and we have this web browser, so we can search anything. We can Google anything we want anytime we want any CSS property. How means the name of the property I'm talking about. CSS and HTML is more about English. It is simple English, like giving the font size. So we will have font hyphen then size. It is the property, simple property, written in simple English. We don't have some complex keywords. So don't worry much about that. We have to remember a lot of properties, and how can we remember this? So don't get panic, because people sitting at this farm companies, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, this people are also doing the same work. They are searching when they need something. So you just have to know how to implement things, and when to use them and how to use them. Okay. So today what we are going to cover in CSS is introduction, and then we'll move to the CSS selectors. We'll describe this. We'll talk about this CSS box model, and then CSS variables, and some more properties we are going to cover. Okay, we have listed some here, and in the end of this session, you will be able to design your own portfolio using HTML and CSS itself. Okay, so yes, this is the HTML file, and let me share you the live code, live link of this session. If you want, you can use this live presentation screen too. You can use this live presentation screen too, and you can also join that live session. So actually, let's start with how to link a how to style in CSS. Okay, so basically, this is CSS is used to style and layout web pages. For example, we want to alter the font. We want to alter the color. We want to alter the size of this. We want to alter the spacing. We want to give spaces between text. Okay. We want to add animations. We want to add some other decorative features. So this is a module. CSS is a module file, which provides a gentle beginning to your path towards CSS. Okay, we are going to see how we can use it. So yesterday we talked about this HTML and everything had and all. So it basically have three ways which we can add CSS. So let me create one more sandbox here. My voice is clear, I hope so. Okay. So let me show you a simple like structure you can follow. How to add CSS. Let's do this HTML part first. Have this already in this boilerplate, and let's give it a title like okay. Now let's remove this all script and everything. We have a simple HTML boilerplate. We have this simple HTML structure we discussed yesterday. So we will have this like a heading itself only, H1. Hello. Hello radiates. Let's see. Hello radiates. It's coming here. Okay. Are you able to see this? Is that visible? Is that visible? Dhruvin?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So now I will introduce you with three ways how we can add CSS to an HTML document. Okay. So first of all, start with inline, uh, or let's start with the block type element, the element HTML element to style this CSS. Here's how we can add this style block, and we can target any HTML tag. Body is an HTML tag. Okay, so what I will do, I'll write body and then I'll open this braces. This is the basic syntax of CSS, opening and closing brackets, and between that I will add the CSS properties. Like, let's change the background color, let it be blue, right? So now what it is white. When I will save this style will implement, and we will have change in color. So this is blue now. So this is how one way CSS will work. So let's comment this now, and let's go to the another way. Another way is inline way. Inline way we can use style as an attribute. So here we can write the same thing, background color, and then write it as red. Okay, red. So this is how we end with a property. So in the end of the line we write property, we have to use this semicolon to tell the browser that here we end our property. Okay, now this is blue, it will get red, this part only, because we added this in the h1 tag. So let's remove this style and add this to the body. Because we added this style attribute in the h1 tag, we got this division of the HTML document only we got red. Okay, so now upon refreshing we will get whole page because we added this property in the body now. Okay, so this was another way. So let's remove this too, and let me introduce the most convenient way when we have lots of CSS properties to be implemented on a single HTML file. So we used to define another file for that. So this is body, and this is actually font family. We'll discuss it later in typography or font section. So now background. So when you will use these code editors like Code Sandbox or VS Code, you will get some suggestions which property to use. So even if you remember some like starting name of the property, you don't have to remember the whole name. It will suggest you some, and you can select it from that drop down menu. Okay, so this is the background color. Now here we can set it yellow. Let's say yellow. Okay, so style.css. It is in which folder? It is in src folder. So what we will do now, we have to use this head. Like you remember yesterday I told you that how to use our head. It contains the metadata of the HTML document, the links, the it contains how the files should use the resources. So we'll compile all the resources in this head block, and like that we will include this CSS file. We have to write this link, then rel, then it is style sheet. We have to tell the browser that what we are giving this as a resource. We are giving a style sheet, and where is it? So we have to define the href. Okay, so it is in the src folder. Src folder, in that src we are having this style.css. So dot refers to what? Dot refers to the current directory, current folder which we are in now. So in that current folder we have src folder. In that src folder we have this style.css file. So here's how we can add that. So now you can also see we have this font family. So you will have a slight change in this font too, and it will change the body to yellow. See, it is yellow now. So these were the three ways how we can add CSS to HTML document. So do you have any problem, Dhruvin? Dhruvin, Kushal, anyone? No? Okay. So these are the three we create. Now let's move to the complete component layer which we created, right? And yesterday we had this just HTML component. So now what we've done, we have the
Hello,
most
Parth.
convenient way to import that.
Hello,
Hello.
Parth. I think your voice is not clear.
Yes.
Some mic issue is there.
Okay. Now
No, again,
is that good now?
no.
Okay. Let
Again,
me.
something disturbing is coming in your mic. Right.
How's now? Still?
Yeah, still.
Like that's lots of disturbance or somewhat you
Yeah, yeah.
can hear about. Okay, it's fine for Kushal. Okay.
Is it fine for
So let's
everyone?
start with Dhruvin.
Dhruvin. Okay then.
Okay. Okay. So the most convenient way, because we have a huge component library, we have a lots of CSS properties to be applied. So we have defined another style.css file in this src folder, and we are importing that. So in head we import links, we import the resources, external files which we want to play with our apps HTML. So here I have also commented the way we can use CSS differently. The way one, then we can use this, and we can even use inline style using the style attribute in HTML. Okay. So here I have not added anything. So part of the CSS. Now let's discuss about the CSS selectors. So there are generally three types of CSS selectors. CSS selectors are like what we actually want to style. Like we want to obviously we want to style this HTML tags, but there are also three ways in that. We can directly target this HTML element, okay, by like we did in this style we did here. We directly targeted the body element and we changed the color to red. By targeting body we changed the color to red. Okay, now we also have two more ways. You can see this class and you can also see ID and all. We'll discuss that later. I'll introduce the ID concept also. So you can't see anything here like class or ID, but still we have some changes here in this. So I have targeted directly the elements, So let's open this style.css. Next to HTML2 we want to refer, and we have this style.css too. Okay, so all of you can see this style.css file. Dhruvin, Kushal, everyone. Is this file visible? Okay, so like ignore this first line. We'll discuss that soon. So now we targeted directly the body part. We targeted the HR tag. Okay. Then you can see that here I have a dot. Instead of starting with the alphabet, I have started this style with a block. I have started this style block with a dot. So a dot refers to a class. So whenever we use a class here, like we are using a class, suppose we are using a class here. So this is class container. Like even I can do that thing. I can use this div element and I can define this here like div and then give this style to div. But every time when I will use div, the changes of that CSS part will be reflected to each and every div I will use in that HTML. So I don't want that. If I want like I want this part to be styled differently and this part to be styled differently, but in both of them we are using div tag. So here that thing will contradict. That thing will not work here. So here's that the concept of class and ID comes. So here we will give a unique class to a div, that this particular div, the div containing the class container, is to be designed like this container. This is the property padding left and padding right. So for padding we need to learn this box model. Okay, so let's first complete the selector part. What are actually CSS selectors? CSS selectors are nothing but the targets, the way to target HTML elements to design them using CSS. These are CSS selectors, nothing more than that. So there are particular three ways we can use we can do that thing. We can use ID, we can use class, and we can directly target this HTML this tags directly. Okay, so till now, any doubts in CSS selectors you have? Hmm? No. Okay. So let's move ahead. And now let's discuss about this CSS box model. So this is CSS box model. Like suppose this is HTML document. Okay. Suppose this is an HTML element. Okay. So here like we have a basic anatomy of HTML. Like we open a tag, we close a tag, and in between that we add our content. So this is the content area. It is bounded by this content edge. It contains the real content of the element. It may be text, it may be image, video player, anything, and its dimension are the content width. Okay, this is content width and content height. This is the content width and this is content height. It often has background color or background image too. You can add that too here. You can style a particular content, means like H1. We did that. We directly targeted H1 and we styled that with color. Okay. So again, so this is a element, HTML element. Inside that we have a content. So content is like enclosed by this padding area. The space between this content edge and this padding edge is padding, like the inner space between a box. Suppose there is a box and there is also a little box inside. So the space enclosing between that inner space between the boxes is what the padding area, and this padding area is bounded by this padding edge, and it extends the content area to include the elements padding. Okay, its dimension are the padding box width and padding box height. Like we used here, we used this padding here, we used this here. You can see here. padding left and padding right. So this is class container, and class container is defined for what? This fluid container. Fluid container, you can see here is some slight space. Here you can see a slight space here in the left, and in the right we have a lot of space, so we can't see the padding right of it. Padding right we have defined here. Okay, padding left and padding right. So we have a slight space here. So this is the inner space which we are giving to style it. Now the center container center. Now we can also nest these classes. We can use this container, and in that container we are using a container center. We are also using this property, and we are also using this properties. So that's why it is like CSS. That's what CSS is. Cascading style sets. We can use multiple styles on a single element. We are using a multiple style on the single div element, and we are using container style also, and we are using this container center also. We are using this padding left and right also. So by default it will have a padding left 1 ram and padding right 1 ram. So ram is actually a quantity, a measurement, okay, like centimeter, millimeter, like that. We have this measurement in web. RAM, pixels, we have VH, we have percentage, like that. So we are using both of these in a single element, and that's what it is called, the cascading style sheet, that you can use different properties on a single element. Like we are using this container properties also, we are using this container center properties also. We are giving the max width 600 pixels. So it is having margin auto. So margin is what? Let's discuss. Let's get back to this CSS model again. Now this was the content area bounded by the padding area. Okay, and padding area is having its padding edge, and every content in which we give a border, like h1 element, we are giving a border. It will be enclosed by some border, like a button, like you can see here. Here it is the border. Secondary link is having a border. Here we can give a border a color also, and this is a primary link, and here also it has a border, but it has a background color too. And this space which you can see in between this secondary link and this font and this border, it is actually the padding area. You can see here, you can refer this box model, and you can see here that this is the content. Like suppose this is the secondary link font, okay, this font, and this is the border. Border is the color, okay, and that border is having this space, the space between this border and the content area, it is padding. So this space between the secondary link, the font secondary link, and this border, purple border, so this space is called padding area. Okay, and above all we have this margin edge. This border area is bounded by this border edge, and it extends the padding area to include the elements border. You can add this border width and all, you can add the thickness and all. And above all we have the margin area, which is bounded by the margin edge. It extends the border area to include an empty area. So my voice is audible to you? Dhruv, Kushal? Okay, so this was about box model. We have content area, we have padding. Padding is like border, the space between border and content, we have padding. And then above all we have margin area. So margin area, let's talk about margin. So margin is like the space between different elements in HTML. Padding was the space between the inner, it is the inner space between the border and the content area. And this padding is like and this margin is like space between this link and space between this primary link. The space between this HR, this horizontal rule, in the space between this list tag. So here we have some space. So here it is like margin. So here also we have defined that margin left and margin right. So this is the property which gives margin to the left and margin to the right. So by default we had what? We had like one RAM. We are using this container property to one RAM, and by default we are having that container property one RAM here also in the left and here also in the right. Okay. So why is text in the center? We have defined margin auto, and also we have defined the maximum width this particular content can acquire. So maximum width we have defined as 600. So it will acquire a area of 600 width, and it will also give auto margin to both sides of it. So that's make this text look in center. So that's how we can center elements in HTML using CSS. Okay, so let's move to links now. So this is links. Here also you can see we have used different properties. So why do we do that? Like we have primary links also, and we have secondary link also, but all of above we have link. So link in particular have its own behavior. Like what we want some common things, we can write that in particular its parent style. This is called a parent style, and this is the child style. Okay, these are his style, link style. Some common things which we want in this link style is like we don't want any text decoration. Text decoration means we will not get the by default we get a color like purple color that we have visited this site. Okay, so you will not get this when you will define this text decoration to none. We have set this text decoration to none. And also we have this padding area, padding 0.5 rem and 1 rem. So this is like top and then right. So top right means we can also do this same thing 0.5, and we can also use this rem. Okay, let's see the change. So this here we are having a change because we have added some padding here. We added this padding here. So padding is the space between this font and primary link and this border area. So we have added this 0.5 and 1 rem of padding in between that, and we want every link we use in our HTML to be behave like the same. It should behave same with every link. Like you can see the same secondary link also is having the same padding. Primary link is also having same padding between this border and this text. So that's because of this link style. Now we talk about link primary. We have defined this link primary for this primary link. We are giving a class link primary. Okay, so for link primary we are giving a background color, and we are giving a background color using this CSS variables. Now let's discuss this CSS variables. CSS variables is like every variable we use in like programming languages. So here's a different way to define a variable in CSS. We are using this root element is like a body element, like a horizontal rule element, like h1 element. We have this root element in CSS. It is applicable only in CSS. Okay, so this is like the main thing. It will enclose whole document. It will be reflected in the whole document. We are defining variables inside this. We are defining this primary primary colors. So for colors, what I have used, for colors I have used this uh, Tailwind CSS. So here we have a bunch of colors we can use from, and these colors are literally good to see, good for your eyes. So what we have done, hello, લા તો જતા રહ્યા બધા. Sure. Chalo. So here's a bunch of colors we can use from Tailwind CSS. It provides a bunch of colors. We have a lots of colors here, and this colors literally looks good to your eyes, and it is good to see. Like you can see this yellow color. We were having prior, means we had that in our example. So that was not the standard color. It was a raw color, raw yellow color. But here we have some different colors with a particular hue, so it looks good to our eyes, and you can surely use this Tailwind CSS colors for giving colors to your HTML components. Now let's see, we have defined a variable. To define a variable, we can use double hyphen, then we can give a variable name, then we have to give this colon, and then we have to provide a hexadecimal value to provide the color. I have copied this from here. Anytime we want to copy any color, you can just do this. You can copy from here and you can simply paste it here. Okay, so here we have done that already. We have used this blue color and we are using it as a variable. So as a variable, how we can use that? We can write this var where this is a keyword in CSS. Then we have to open this bracket, the simple bracket. We can open that, and inside that we can write this var, this variable name, primary color. So it will get reflected in the primary link, because we had used the class, and inside that we used CSS to design that class, and we added some background color for that primary link with the primary color. And also we are defining this color as white. This color is white, so this will turn the text inside that into white, right? Also it is giving border radius. It is giving border radius. It is having this border, and it is giving this border a radius. So this, you can see this corners is having some type of curve inside that, in that. So this is because of this property, border radius. And you can give many, like you can also give one rem also, but it will not good look nice. See, it is not good. So we will use this 0.5. 0.5 looks good to me. Everyone have their own preferences, so I have this. Okay, so for link secondary, what we did, we chose this color as primary color. Like we want the font color as primary, this purple, this dark blue. Okay, and we have the same border thing in this link. Okay, this link, and we can remove this border radius from here, link primary, because we have that thing in common, and we are using this link in the both of them. So this will have no change. Okay, so this is how you can use this parent style, then you can do the child style. Now this is link secondary. So link secondary, we choose this color as primary color. We chose this font color as primary color in the dark blue, which we defined as a variable in the top of our file in the root element of the CSS. Now border, we have given this 1px. 1px is actually how thick your border should be. So this is the thickness of the border, and the border should be solid, and it should also have a color. So the color is primary color. This is the color, primary color it is having. So this is how we define this primary link and secondary link. And the concept of introducing this primary link and secondary link, we discussed it yesterday. I related this concept with Twitter. It is having a tweet button and it is having a edit profile button. So in that edit profile button, the developers don't want, and the user also don't want to click on edit profile daily. User wants to tweet daily. So the primary thing which the user wants to do is to tweet. So it will have a button like this with the background color filled with, the background should be filled with a particular color. So that is the concept of primary link and secondary link. So now let's jump off to lists. So in lists, what we have this. we have used the class list and list non-bullet. We don't want the bullets to come, so we are styling here that we don't want any bullet. So this will do nothing. This will we will use this list non-bullet. We are giving this name by ourselves, so you can use anything. You can introduce any number of s here, so that doesn't matter. The thing that matters is this property. This property should not change. This property is fixed. There are several css covered css keywords which we have to take care of, and this is one of them. List style none. So we don't want any style in the list. We don't even want any of the bullets to come up. Okay, so this is list item inline. Now we want every item in the list to be inline. So this thing will be added to the item list item inline. And so here you can see all these items are in a particular line. So this is happening because of this. We have used this display property and we have used an inline value to it. This is the property name and this is the value of this property. Again, we have added a padding. Padding is like inner space between them. So this space you can see, this is padding. Okay, so this is padding. This is particular 0.5 padding area. This is the padding area in between these two. So this is how we add padding. If we didn't have this padding, if we comment this padding and then they save this document, you can see here all of them will be like a little messy and it will not look good to our eyes, and it will be very tough for us to distinguish between these items. So if we have this padding, we can do this thing. We can have some space in between. Okay, inner space it is. Now we want unordered list. We are done with this unordered inline list. Now ordered reverse list. We are having no such different style for this. We have kept this thing as it is because it doesn't need any styling. It is already styled. We want this to be ordered in a reverse way. So yes. So now we have also this navigation. Navigation is the important part of any document, any website. So we have a huge number of properties working upon it. So we have the main parent class added to the navigation element. We have this element, we have this class navigation. So navigation is here. We have this navigation part. So for navigation, what we want the background color to be set as the primary color we are having in the top of the file. We have defined it in the root. So we want that background color to be reflected in this. So this is the background color, right? Now we want some padding. We want some padding like 1 rem between them. The elements having inside this parent thing. We want every thing to have some padding inside that. We want some padding between this UL. We want some padding between this division. So we are having a padding of at least 1 rem in that, right? Now we have this border bottom left radius. This is a property border bottom. Now let's see border bottom. This is the bottom left radius. Now this is the left. So here we are giving a radius. Border bottom left radius. Here we are giving a radius. Here border bottom left radius. Similarly border top right radius. So border top right radius. Here you can see here is the sharp edge corners here. Here we are not styling anything. We are styling the opposite corners of this border. We are styling the top right and bottom left corners, right? 1 rem each. Okay. So after that we have what? We are giving style to the unordered list which we defined yesterday, because looking to this which were looking same as this, and now it will look like this when we will add CSS to that. So what we are using nav brand. Nav brand for what? This like we are going to style this particular. We want this thing to be bolder. We want this thing to have some more font size. So we have this nav brand. Inside navigation, it will have nav brand. If we use nav brand inside navigation, it should have a font weight of bolder. It should be bold. The text should be bolder than any other text inside that particular division. The font size should be this 1.2 RAM, and the color should be white. The color inside this navigation should be white, right? So next we have what navigation nav fields. Now we did what? We did this thing. Home, products, about. Now let me comment this thing and let me show you how this worked and why we did this. So this does not really look nice, right? This home, products, and about this does not look nice. We want this to be aligned to the extreme right of the navigation bar. So we have a property, and so we had this style. We use this class navfills, and we added this navfills to here, class navfills, and we use this list item inline, and we are adding a class to all. We are using this link again here, and we are having this link active. Active link means what? Active link means like suppose we have clicked on home, so this is the active page on which you are now, right? When you will click on the product, it will have a different product .html page. So inside that, when you will use this link active, so here you will not use link active in home. In the products.html page, you will be having this links active page, this link active style in the product. So here you can see that home will be now not bold. It is not bold now. The products page is bold now because we have clicked on products. Okay, so it was like the concept of link active. This is list item inline. So it did this part of our thing. We use this list item inline. We did all the list we had in our navigation bar as non bullets. Also we use this list non bullet, which we use here. We don't want any bullet there. So we have no bullets. We have like no particular list, a vertical list. We are having a horizontal list, inline list. So this way we have this our navigation bar. Now let's move to header. Inside header, what we have? Image. That image was looking like this before we added this. Okay, I just deleted that image yesterday, so I added this another one. So we didn't added any dimensions to that image. So today what we are going to do is going to define a separate class for that, and we are going to give that class name hero, and we are adding a padding area of 2 RAM. So inside this image is a content. This image is a content. You can see this is as a content. Okay, and it is also having a virtual border which you can't see. It is having a border which you can't see, but if you give color to that border, you can see that border too. So inside that border and this content, you can give this padding, and inside that we have this image. Now we want to style this image. We want to give dimensions to this image. Now how we can do that? We can use this hero image. We can use this max width 350 pixels, like we did in that centered container. We have this. We have centered this image. We have given this margin auto, which is giving some margin to both sides, to from the not both sides, from all the sides, from here also, from here also, from here also, and here also. Display is block means in the center. Display block is like there is two type of display values. Block means there are several, but we have covered two of them: inline and a block. Inline is the horizontal display, and this block is the vertical display. Block is all about vertical display. and we are giving a margin auto. This made our image like this. And also we are having a hero heading. We are the radiates. In that, what we used this. We used a inline style in this, in a span. Span is also a non-semantic tag which adds no value to the content radiates. So we use this style color primary, and we are having this text color different from this. We are the radiates, and this color is the same. Hero heading we want color to be gray. So hero heading, we have a different css variable, dark gray, and the dark gray variable is this. So here I have done this. Off white also I have a variable, also a variable with dark gray. Okay, so hero heading, we have a gray heading, and we also have a span. We have a separate styling for that. We have a separate color for this text radius. Now moving towards section, white section, and this uh, off-white section. Off-white section is like having a background, particular background is off-white, and for that, for to distinguish off-white and white section, we have used this gray background, and we have this with no background. The white section should have no background. Okay, so section. Now we have done this section. Section should also have 2 rem of padding. Now let's see this padding thing. If you don't have padding, how can it be good to see? So see, here you have padding inside this. This is the section. This is the section. The color you can see here. This is the section. Off-white section is the content. Now what you want, this is the border. You can't see when you don't have any color defined in that, but when you add some color, you can see the border actually. So this space between this border and this text is padding, and now we have added 2 rem of padding here. Okay, now let me save this, and this is the padding. We got this padding. We have some space between the text. And also off-white section, for off-white section we have this OW background color, and we have this of white. We have used this variable, so we are giving a background color to this. And also to center all this, we have added some more styling to that. We have added this container. We have enclosed the whole section in the container. We have used the container center which we defined previously in this session. Then we have this text, so this text will be in the center, and we also have this section, so we'll also have this section whole section in center, and it will be applied to both. Here also we are doing the same thing, but here we are using this OW. We are nesting the class, we are nesting the CSS style, cascading styles. We are using different styles on the single section element, and that's why we are getting the same behavior but a different background in this off-white section. Okay, so now CSS transition is like some tricky part, and not actually tricky. It is like, see, you can see here dot target. I have defined a class here, dot target, you can see, and I have enclosed the whole thing, whole content thing in a section. Okay, and I have used this target too. I have used the container center to center everything inside this section. That's why it is in center. Okay, now whenever I will hover over a section which is having class target, what it will do, it will do this transition is like giving an animation to a particular part of an HTML document. So it will give a background color. So by default it is white. Okay, so whenever you hover, you will get a background color. You will have this font size, this maximum font size, and every second you will increase this font size, so it will also have a different color. Now whenever you hover on that, see, it is getting to its maximum font value, font size. When we hover back, we're having that thing redo. Okay, so when we hover, the font size should be 30x 30px, background should be off white, and this particular color should be black. Good. Now let's cover this shadow part. Section, class section, and container center shadow. So we have again this thing, we have enclosed everything in a container, we have centered everything using the class container center, and in all this we have used a shadow also. We have used this shadow part. Now a shadow, how we can actually give shadow to a HTML part, HTML element, how we can do that. First of all, we have did this padding to distinguish between this area. This area you can see in the sides. This is the padding, okay, and this background. RGBA we have used now. This RGBA we have used this background. So it is just because to give a shadow like thing, means a background color. We did some background color, slight background color we added, and then we use this box shadow. For this we add this box shadow, and this is the thing which is giving this part a shadow. This box shadow is having a different type of link, like zero. It is the like a border. Okay, like suppose this is a border, it is having a lots of values inside that. A series of values we have to add to give a shadow to a box. We don't have to remember all of this. All you can do is you can do box shadow mdn. Always refer to this mdn document. So you can see box shadow, it will describe you each and everything about that box shadow. Yeah, it have a series of things: blur radius, spread radius, color, and everything. So you have to do that, right? So in that white section we have added a background. Okay, a clear white thing we added, and under the hood we added this shadow part using this box shadow property. So that was all about adding this shadow. Now we come to the most the last thing of this any website, footer part. So footer part also we did the same yesterday. We added we had the list. We had a list, a simple list, an ordered list. We had unordered list. Okay, we had an ordered list. Now what we want, like that a navigation bar we have this thing, social 1, social 2, social 3. We have this. So we want every element, every item in that uh, this thing style with the footer header. Where is that footer header? Guess we have not defined that footer header, but we can give some styling to this. So let's give this. We can do that live. Footer header. We can copy this class, and how do one can define a selector? We can do this thing inside footer. Whenever I will use footer header class, so the font weight should be bold, right? You can see now that this design thing will be get somewhat bolder now. See, it is glowing now, glowing with some white, extreme white thing. It is glowing. So we have this particular items inside this. So these items are also designed. We designed them, and we had them that items as inline, everything in one line, and we use this link. So every time we use css, we define a css part. This all this css part is like reusable, and that's why we use this. If you want this same style set to be done with a different html file, you can copy this css part and you can add the css to your html file you want. and use that, and you can use that same CSS. So yes, this was all about this CSS part, and you have a large number of properties to deal with in your regular practice. So you don't have to remember all of them. You just have to. So this was one way I just skipped. So it was like adding a font. So for font, I use this fonts.google.com. Okay. So suppose you are like you like this font. You like this font. Roboto. Now let's say this Coho. Okay. So what you will see for the styles. You will see for the extra, if you want extra light 200, you want extra light 200 italic, you want the text to be italic, you want light 300. Yes, I want this. You will select the style and you will go to the import section and you will copy this. Simply copy this and copy and then just paste it in the top. Okay, in the top here I have pasted, I have commented that and I have pasted here. And inside this font family, instead of doing Montserrat, I am using what? Coho. So this is sans serif. So how this font family property actually works? So in case if your Coho failed to show, then for a backup font, as a backup font, sans serif will be used. So instead of Coho, when it will be failed to load, suppose this is an external link and you have some connection problem. So for that, this Coho will not be imported to your document. So in that thing, this sans serif will act as a backup font. So when you will refresh, you will see a slight change in the font. See, white section, everything changed. We are the radiates. The font size also changed because of the font thing. But I like this Montserrat a lot, so I'll use that. We are not using this. We are not using this Coho. So you can see your own preferences. You can see your own colors. You can. So the thing which we why we do this variable things is like every time we want to change the color, we just have to change the color of this variable names. We don't have to actually navigate to the all the properties and we have to change all the colors. No, we just have to change the properties values. Okay, we have to change the values of this variable. Let's get back to this. Now let's see one more example of this font family. Now Montserrat is not loading because I have used this. I have commented this thing. Okay, so this will fetch the, by default it will fetch this sans serif. It will not fetch the Montserrat because it is commented. Now when it is not commented, it is available, you can use it. The Montserrat will be used. It will override this sans serif. So that was all about the CSS session. You have a lot more to deal with CSS. Keep this thing in your regular practice. You have to take all these properties in your regular practice. You have to use all these components in your regular practice in your projects. And in tomorrow's session, we have a JavaScript session, and it is more of like a project session. You are going to see some